Dubby Charles had always been different, they said. Dubby had been named after his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather, William Benjamin Charles IV. He was called Dubby, short for W. The stories always said that when Dubby was a baby, he'd ignore the mobile in his crib, the one with the dangling animals, a tiger, an elephant, a giraffe, which played music, and instead he'd stare off into the distance, smiling. When he began to babble, he'd go on for hours a night, his mama and daddy listening through the baby monitor. They always thought that it was so cute, but as he began to be able to say a few words, early for a baby they were told, around 6 months old, they'd hear him and his words would sound frighteningly different than the first words of other babies. Bloody, harder, scare, you, and he'd giggle. When he was a toddler, and his G-Ma and G-Pop would babysit, sometimes they'd report that Dubby would sit facing a corner and talk to someone called Legion. When Dubby was 6 years old, his father died. He and Dubby were alone at the home when Bill was on the computer during a thunderstorm. The coroner said that Bill had been electrocuted by lightning hitting the house, although there were no signs of this on either the house or the computer. After that, Dubby would set a plate where his dad used to sit and tell his mother that it was now Legion's place at the table. Sometimes, Dubby would ask his mom if he could have a picnic outside for just him and Legion, and his mom always had to make a lunch for Legion, too. Then, when his mom would go to clean up the dishes, the plate for Legion was always empty. Dubby began to talk to Legion more and more, but the doctors told his mother that he was using his imaginary friend to help him get over the loss of his father, that she should just let it go for now. One night his mom woke in the middle of the night to find Dubby sitting on her bed. She startled and sat up, asking if he was okay. He seemed to be sleepwalking as he was staring directly behind her, unmoved by his mother's fright. "I am Legion," said his mouth, but his voice was different. "Dubby, Dubby," his mother said quietly, as not to scare him awake. "I am Legion. Do not be afraid. If you do as I say," and as the story goes, his mother grabbed him and shook him awake, and he seemed surprised to be in his mother's room. He asked what was happening, and he began to cry. His mother took him back to his room and tucked him in. She hugged him tightly. "Hush, hush. Everything is fine," she said to him. But she wasn't so sure. She was frightened by what had happened. Still, she followed the doctor's instructions. One day, when Dubby was 8, she found him sitting in the backyard, talking towards a thick hedge, and as she walked up, she heard him say, "But I can't. She's my mother." And then a deeper voice say, "She's coming." And Dubby quickly sat up and turned around towards his mother. "What's going on?" his mother asked, as she began to look into the deep, thick hedge. "Oh, nothing," replied Dubby. And again she spoke to his doctor, and again she was told that this was normal. Finally, one night, when Dubby had just turned 9, his mother was awakened in the night by Dubby standing by her head, and he was holding a pillow. "Dubby, you scared me," she said. Just then, He put the pillow over her face and he crawled up under her bed and onto her head to use all of his weight to hold the pillow down while his mother struggled. And while she was struggling, Dubby said, "Hush, hush, everything is fine." After his mother passed away, Dubby went to go live with his G-Ma and G-Pop. And every night when his G-Ma would tuck him in, Dubby would insist that she would say goodnight to Legion. And she did.